Pokish. I'm a biologist with the Maryland Department of the Environment. Today we're going to focus on a simple way that you can eat fish and eat smart. Recreational fishing, whether on the Chesapeake Bay at Sandy Point State Park or on local lakes or rivers, is a big part of what makes Maryland, Maryland. It can be great family fun. And we know that some people are what we call subsistence anglers, meaning that they are actively seeking to catch fish as part of the regular diet. There are things you can do to enjoy fish in the healthiest way possible. Today I'd like to demonstrate the best way to fillet a fish in order to reduce pollutants, that contaminants, if you will, that build up in the tissue. The Department of the Environment actively monitors for a number of different pollutants that ultimately could be harmful to humans. And one of the ones that we're really most concerned about are PCBs. And striped bass, which is the Maryland state fish, does have advisories for PCB contamination. And what we found is if you fillet this properly and smartly and remove mostly the belly fat and the lateral line fat and make sure you have it cleaned up as well as possible, that you can actually reduce the PCB contamination up to 90%. First you start by taking the knife and working behind the opercular fin and just work straight down until you hit that spine. Then you run that knife right along the spine and right on through to the tail. After you've done that, you flip the fillet over and you take your knife and hold on to the skin. So you're going to try to remove the skin and just work your knife on a kind of an angle along that skin edge until you've removed that whole skin. Like that. And then that part of that's done. If you flip it over, you'll see that the area we're mainly concerned about with PCB contamination is actually the brown meat along the lateral line, and then the belly flat meat, which has a lot more fat to it as well. So, from this point, what we do, we take our knife once it's flipped over and work along that belly flap, which is actually the rib cage, and remove that. Now there is some meat left in there, and if you want to take the time, you can also cut that off and make soup out of it or whatever. Next thing you do, move the fillet back over so you're seeing the brown part. Cut it in half. And of course, the bigger fish you may want to cut 3 or 4 times. And then simply just take the edge of your knife and remove the brown meat from that edge. And it might take a little while for you to do that, but it's not that hard to do once you get the hang of it. And then what you're left is a really clean piece of meat that's mainly void of the PCB contamination. And we can do the same thing with the lower half. And I find that the lower half, because the lateral line meat actually extends further into the meat, that if you take your knife and cut it laterally, it might be a little easier to work because you want to take that edge closest to the camera and work that down a little deeper because the brown meat actually works deeper into the fish tissue. So you do that, work your way back up, cut that meat off, and your end product is a nice white piece of meat that's ready for consumption. You can mix it with a little crab meat, great stuff. You do the same thing to the other half. And there you go. There's a complete fillet void of PCBs. And I encourage everyone to enjoy Maryland's waters for their bounty. Seafood is great, it's great to eat, and if you fillet it right, it's going to be good and healthy too. So we want to remind everybody to do it right and stay healthy.